Today I will be doing an exclusive interview on Miss Renee Red, age 50. She will be telling us about her life and advice for seniors that are about to graduate. Please watch the following clip. What has been the driving force in your life?
I would say that the way I was raised and my mother, I was raised as a single parent, and she's a very strong woman. And so, and I've seen the things that she's overcome. So, she has driven me um, to push forward and to always work for my goals.
All right. How did you decide what your career would be?
Um, Again, my mom. So I was going to go to college and just I didn't want to go be in school anymore. So I went for a 2-year program, an associate's degree in computers, and I finished that. And I got out and I worked for a year, and I did not like working from 8 to 6 every day. So with 3 days off a year, and I got to talking to her about it, and she was like, education is a good thing for a female to go into if you're planning on being a mom. So I never thought I would do that, but that's what she went into, and that's what majority of my family's in is education. So she convinced me to do that, and I went back into education.
All right. So, how do you find peace in your life?
The Lord. When I read my Bible and pray, that brings me peace.
All right. What is your biggest source of stress and how do you relieve your stress?
My biggest source of stress is probably my children, and it's just seeing them hurt or seeing them upset, and I have to again. I need to relieve it. I need to be by myself and get into the scriptures and pray.
Good answer. How did you know you were going to marry Mr. Byron?
I didn't. I knew him my whole entire life, and he's older than me, so we were just friends, and never thought about dating him. So I think the Lord led me to him because when we first went out, it was never in my intentions to ever really date him or anything. So I know it was the Lord.
Did the conceptions you have of your life as a young child come true?
I don't know if I ever really thought about what my life was going to be like. I've always kind of lived in the moment. And never really planned. I'm not a planner. Did not plan for the future. So, I mean, it's probably better than what I ever hoped it would be. But I never thought about what it would be.
So, what has been the biggest low of your life?
There's been several, but probably the one is the one I'm going through right now. With my daughter and her getting a divorce and watching her kids go through that. That has probably been on the top of the list. Yes.
What is the best memory of your life and why?
I have a lot of good memories. I just anything that involves my kids. I love to travel, like to go on vacation with them, and we've had some really good times. So anything that I do with my kids is a good memory.
If you could go back in time, would you change anything?
I probably would, but I don't know if it would change the outcomes of, when I think about that, there's not a lot I would change. I would stress to my children but I did this, so I don't know that this is going to change. I would stress to my children how important it is to marry a godly person, because the most important thing for me is for my kids to be happy, and to be in Christ. So, but I don't know how I would change that, because I did stress them, to do that. So, I guess just maybe, I don't know how I would change that, but I would change it some way so they would really understand, and I would, especially with my first child, I would let her know how, I wouldn't be as strict on her as I was. I feel like on the first child, you're always so strict and you want everything to be perfect. And so they try to be perfect. And that would probably be the only thing I would change, is that I would let her know that she's important and she's worthy and she doesn't have to be perfect, Yeah.
Right. Do you have any regrets in your life?
Probably the one I just talked about, but I can't, there's been lots of regrets right after I've done something and wish I wouldn't have done it, but any major regrets, no. Well, the one thing I would say probably, and give advice to anybody, is that before you, when you first get married, it's you probably have more money than you ever thought you had. You probably think you don't, but you do. And to save that money and try to not go in debt and pay off things as you work for them. That's probably would change.
Okay, and my final question is, if you have any advice for someone who's graduating high school, what would you say?
I would say that, I could give you a speech on this one, but I would say that don't just do something because it's easy, because whatever you go into, you're going to spend the rest of your life doing it. And after you get out and get a job, you're going to start getting bills and having expenses, and you're not going to be able to go back and redo. So when you first get out of school, if you don't know what you're going to do, job shadow, talk to people that have done stuff, try to figure that out, but don't do something because it's easy or because it'll get you out of school sooner, because in the long run, you're going to live that life the rest of your life. And so you want to do something you enjoy. Don't do it for the money, do it for enjoyment.
Thank you for your time.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you for watching Masterclass with Miss Renee Red.